So coming into the weekend in Spa, a couple of interesting little tidbits before we start. I thought it was surprising, or maybe not surprising, that Leclerc's Q1 time coming into the race was slower than his Q1 for Sauber at the 2018 Belgian Grand Prix.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not by much. I think by a few thousandths of a second, but
that's pretty shocking.
So that gives you a picture of where Ferrari are right now.
It's pretty abysmal, and obviously that transferred into the race. I watched practice 1 and practice 2. I didn't manage to catch practice 3, but I saw they finished bottom of the order, and I thought to myself, you know what? It's probably they just haven't found the right setup, or something happened on track. I wasn't quite sure what happened because I was at work. But then obviously moving into qualifying, they qualified 13th and 14th, Leclerc being the 13th. Only a 10th between them, but still the Ferrari are out of the top 10 now and only just scraped through into Q2, may I add. It wasn't by much. Russell almost had them.
A team that's gone in the opposite direction is Williams. Their best Q time is 4 seconds faster than last year.
That's crazy. That's so impressive. I mean, we were already talking about it last week on the podcast about them being brought out and how we hope that they make massive improvements. But to be 4 seconds faster in qualifying compared to last year is just a huge improvement, and I'm really happy. And if that could just transfer into race pace as well, that would be even better because they seem to be doing really well in qualifying and then just not quite maintaining that position during the race and slip back ever so slightly. But it's still a little bit of work to be done, but their qualifying performance is getting better for sure. I tell you who, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but I tell you who did surprise me in this qualifying session, Ricciardo and the Renault, just Renault together, really. Where did that pace come from? It's come out of nowhere.
It's their 1,000 brake horsepower engine. That's what it is.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Maybe they really weren't messing with that. Maybe they really have focused on straight line speed, and because they did well at Monza last year.
They did. So, you're right.
They're in good shape coming into this race and coming out of this race and into Monza itself again. So
yeah, because they've done well in this race, and like you said, next week's even more of a power track, which will be good for some teams and will be devastating for other teams, especially if it's your home Grand Prix, Ferrari. It's just not going to be a good one to watch for them. I don't usually get emotional watching Formula One, I don't really feel bad or feel great for some teams, but it's hard to watch the Ferrari sink as far back as they have done. And for me personally, that's going to be a massive talking point about in this podcast is their performance, race pace, and strategy. But as for qualifying, anything else did you notice? I mean, the McLaren's a little bit further down than I expected, along with the racing points. I expected those to be a little bit higher given their engine and their form this year, but the Renaults just jumped straight in there and took that position away from them.
Yeah, definitely impressive showing. Ricciardo beating Albon is definitely a hell of a few laps there. McLaren maybe a little bit lower, but they stuck themselves up in the top 10 pretty consistently. So I'm pretty happy with that.
I think Norris is the only driver outside of Hamilton, Bottas, and Verstappen who has constantly qualified in the top 10 this year. I think everyone else has had problems. So
it's had that consistency that you need, especially if you're going to fight in that particular place.
Absolutely.
In Formula One.
Yeah.
You're going to start to challenge the top teams.
And that's good for Norris because he had a pretty inconsistent last year. Not through any fault of his own. He had a lot of problems with the cars. A bit like what Sainz is experiencing now at the moment, which is a shame. But he's really pulled it together this year. The consistency's there. He's fighting for points constantly. And yeah, he's done a great job putting that car in the top 10 again, to be fair.
Another big surprise from qualifying was Latifi wasn't last.
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that is good.
He's got to take it. He's got to take it wherever he can get it.
He's got to take it. He's got to take all the good points. It doesn't matter that Magnussen didn't have P1 or P2, and just had like an hour of P3 and then jumped straight into qualifying. So Magnussen did pretty much all his running on the Saturday, and was 2 tenths slower than Latifi. So yeah, fair enough. But Latifi to Russell, that gap is half a second, just over half a second. And people criticise Albon being half a second slower than Verstappen. And obviously, your closest competitor is your teammate, and that's the person you're always going to get compared to. So Latifi being over half a second slower than Russell is is not good standing. But it's his first year in Formula One, so we'll see how that continues throughout the year, whether he matures and his driving matures with him. We'll find out.